Okay, you all come in, hit the like, hit the share button, and say hello. Let me know what part of the world you are tuning in from. I'm definitely going to keep you all updated as much as possible. I'm doing a lot of things behind the scene of getting people into this cryptocurrency that I'm going to discuss, and not just Shiba. In fact, it took me about a day to learn how to purchase bone because I really like the cryptocurrencies that are not easily available to the average person to purchase, right? It's not easily on the open market because what that tells me is the cryptocurrencies behind the scenes, the ones that are not easily available to me, will definitely have a greater return on your investments when you can get come in and get these cryptocurrencies for pennies on a dollar. And so I'm going to be working very hard to get people into this one cryptocurrency that's going away Tuesday from the private sector, from the private market. It's going to move with natural gas prices. It's actually called NatG, natural gas. And so I have to do some private Zooms to get people started and get them in on that before it goes away on Tuesday. So stay tuned for the live stream and hit that thumbs up again. I'm going to break down what this cryptocurrency is, why, because of where we are headed. I definitely believe that you should have this in your crypto portfolio. Also, with the release of Shibarium, the Shibarium crypto, Bone is one that definitely I feel that will also yield people a great return on that investment as well. And Bone is not available on the open market, and so it took me some time to get that process of purchasing Bone as well. But I finally got that did and figured that out. And so this is where I'm headed to now, getting people the very valuable cryptocurrencies that most of the masses are not talking about. They're not discussing. Latoya, if you want to get started, just text me CC to that number strolling at the bottom of the screen, 331-444-5556. I'm doing a private Zoom at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to help people make this purchase. And which will be 8 o'clock, right? Central Standard Time, which will be 6 o'clock specific time. So, real quick, let's get into President Trump's. This is just in breaking news. He warns about World War III has never been closer. This is why I'm telling you all to get in these cryptocurrencies that have real use cases because the next bull run is going to include real world commodities and cryptocurrencies that have real use cases and updates that's according to the changing of our economy and economic system. Okay, Toya, Miss Toya, I guess I don't want to be, pronouncing your name incorrectly. I just got your text and I'm sending you the information to get enrolled. So here we go, returning that text. And speaking of that, people, because this is a very time sensitive crypto to get in, um, I am very, at this point of live streaming, I've received some of the warmest, heartfelt messages, right? I've been live streaming for a long time. I've impacted a lot of lives, and I thank the Most High for putting that gift in me. And but also because of that, I don't play around with time sensitive issues, right? If I ask you to send me text messages during business hours, do that. Because moving forward, if I get text messages at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock midnight, those numbers will be automatically blocked from that number, right? If I get phone calls, and like yesterday, I was attending a funeral, and and someone still insisted after I notified them via text that I was at a funeral that I call them about these cryptos. If that's your type of energy and expectations, if I tell you I'm at a funeral, then we won't work well together. These cryptocurrencies are time sensitive, and I'm helping people and I pour out to a lot of people. But if you disrespect texting and talking hours, if you call me after, like I did a live stream, I think it was Saturday or Friday. I was just leaving the gym. I was in my driveway, right? The live stream showed that I'm in my driveway and I had groceries in my vehicle. So I'm taking my groceries out, wanted to get in. It was well into the night, wanted to take a shower. And someone right after the live stream called my phone and texted me. This is the same person that asked me to call them Saturday when I told them I was at a funeral. The same person, and said, I want to talk to you about the crypto. So that's not a good working relationship, not gonna work. It's not going to work. Because at the end of the day, I am a person that has business hours. I pour into a lot of people, and I also have to take time to pour into myself. And no one is going to respect or rather disrespect, right, my phone and having access to me via phone in that manner, right? And then sometimes I get people say, well, I just want to know if you are a real person. Yeah, I am, see, But with that being said, you still don't call people Friday nights at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, right? You want to know if people real, call them Monday through Friday during banking hours, right? Like, so let's have some business etiquette, because if that's the way the relationship start and is not addressed, this is the way people will expect it to continue. And I don't work with people on those terms, especially when I'm helping a mass number of people financially, when it's just not me and that person. So let's listen to former President Trump, and this is just in, and then we're going to get into the crypto side. If you have bone if you hold bone upon the release of Shibarium, I want you to hashtag bone in the comment section. Bone is that gas cryptocurrency. It is that gas technology that would be on a layer two blockchain, and it's like under $2 right now. So Bone is that cryptocurrency that will act like a Crow or Chronos or a BNB coin, for example. And so if you have Bone in your possession upon the release of Shibarium, just hashtag Bone. Some big expectations for Bone as well. So let's listen in. Former President Trump's warning about World War III becoming closer.
World War III has never been
Well, let me get it
closer.
off mute first. Give me a second. That would help with it. Hello, Alvin. Hello, Alvin on Facebook. Let you're tuning in and saying hello.
World War III has never been closer than it is right now. We need to clean house of all of the warmongers and America last globalists and the deep state, the Pentagon, the State Department, and the national security industrial complex. One of the reasons I was the only president in generations who didn't start a war is that I was the only president who rejected the catastrophic advice of many of Washington's generals, bureaucrats, and the so-called diplomats who only know how to get us into conflict, but they don't know how to get us out. For decades, we've had the very same people, such as Victoria Nuland and many others just like her, obsessed with pushing Ukraine toward NATO, not to mention the State Department support for uprisings in Ukraine. These people have been seeking confrontation for a long time, much like the case in Iraq and other parts of the world. And now we're teetering on the brink of World War III. And a lot of people don't see it, but I see it. And I've been right about a lot of things. They all say Trump's been right about everything. None of this excuses in any way the outrageous and horrible invasion of Ukraine 1 year ago, which would have never happened if I was your president, not even a little chance. But it does mean that here in America, we need to get rid of the corrupt globalist establishment that has botched every major foreign policy decision for decades. And that includes President Biden, whose own people said he's never made a good decision when it comes to looking at other countries and looking at wars. We have to replace them with people who support American interests. Over our 4 years in the White House, we made incredible progress in putting the America Last contingent aside and bringing the world to peace. And now we're going to complete the mission. The State Department, Pentagon, and national security establishment will be a very different place by the end of my administration. In fact, just into my administration, it'll be a very different place. And it'll get things done, just like I did 4 years ago. We never had it so good. We'll also stop the lobbyists and the big defense contractors from going in and pushing our senior military and national security officials toward conflict, only to reward them when they retire with lucrative jobs, getting paid millions and millions of dollars. Take a look at the globalist warmonger donors backing our opponents. That's because they're candidates of war. I am the president who delivers peace, and it's peace through strength. There was a reason we had no conflict. There was a reason we didn't get into wars, because other countries respected us. I entirely built, all right from the beginning, rebuilt our military. It's a big reason for that. They didn't want to mess around with the United States, and now they're laughing at us. We could end the Ukraine conflict in 24 hours with the right leadership. At the end of my next 4 years, the warmongers and frauds and failures of the senior ranks of our government will all be gone, and we will have a new group of competent national security officials who believe in defending America's vital interests above all else. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing right there. You know what? I was not planning on showing it. It popped up after the video, but this is just the topic I want to lead into now. Why you need cryptocurrencies that have real world commodities, the importance of getting in these cryptocurrencies that I've been talking about, that's linked and connected to natural gas and oil, because we are about to enter the summer months, the spring, the new season, of which gas prices, right? Natural gas prices, crude oil, all of these commodities are about to just over and inflate, right? We know about the price of eggs. In fact, someone sent me an email. I don't know if that was true or adequate, but they sent me an email saying that the price of eggs at Walmart was like $14. Now, again, I don't know if that was a correct screenshot. Some of the things I thought were false end up being true, and some of the things that I thought was true end up being false. Like the meme that was going around about the young lady that purchased a 1998 Ford Escort for $289 a month. It went viral, and I thought that was just a funny meme floating around. I thought it was a joke, and that ended up being true. So again, or will we go to World War III? Well, this is not about who I like as president. Do I like Trump? Am I a Republican or Democrat? I believe in capitalism. In fact, President Biden just shared a tweet that he is a capitalist himself. All of them, Nancy Pelosi, all of them are capitalists. I do not believe in they are separate. I believe that they may be separate but very equal in equality. I believe in left wing, right wing, same bird, not red and blue, but rather purple, and that they are united in their cause. They just have different functions and they put on different faces for the public. However, most people believe, and it's your right to believe that it matters about what Democratic Party that you have in office. And let me tell you, they're all a part of the same thing. They're all on the same agenda, right? Just because they wake up on different sides of the bed does not mean they don't sleep in the same bed. They just get out, roll out on the right side or the left side, but they're sleeping in the same bed. That's just my thing. Yeah, two wings, one bird. So please don't come on here. She's a Trump supporter. She's a Republican. No, what I do support is capitalism, and I do support people getting a financial education and financial knowledge, and understanding where this economy is going now more than ever, because we are not going back ever to the same economy. It may die down for a little while. You may see a temporary dip in gas prices, but you're going to see gas prices higher than they were last summer again. And I believe that's going to happen this summer. You're going to see cryptocurrencies, some of them, on a bigger bull run, right? Now than ever before, because our currency system is changing. If you just look at the U.S. debt clock, you can look at the U.S. debt clock and see that we are over $32 trillion in debt, people. That has to be addressed. It cannot be ignored. This is facts. This is things that's what's called hidden in plain sight. And this is why getting in cryptocurrencies, getting in things that the government cannot print. Right? Robert Kiyosaki said it this way: the government prints cash, ETFs, and stocks, but they cannot print a cattle, they cannot print livestock, they cannot print real estate, commercial buildings, apartments, right? They cannot print silver, they cannot print gold, they cannot print crude oil, they cannot print natural gas, they cannot print cotton, which is what we wear in our clothing, right? Commodities is all around you. We were just talking about the price of eggs a couple of weeks ago, and then last year was the price of gas. So why aren't you connected to these cryptos with real world use cases and commodities and things that we use every day, whether you're going to the grocery stores to get vegetables and fruit, or high yielding agriculture, or you're going to naturalistic healing and diet and lifestyle, and through hemp and weed, and getting these cocoa and soybeans, because this is a war, and it has always been, people, about commodities. So having the opportunity, having a window and opportunity to get in these commodities that are linked to the natural gas prices is a one in a lifetime opportunity. So let's go right into it. Never heard it explained that way. Thank you. Makes so much sense. I'm so glad I'm making sense to people that have sense. Alvin said the government just offered me 12% on $1 million loan for 6 months. The government offered you a $1 million loan for 6 months. They want you to pay back $1 million in 6 months. What type of loan was that, Alvin? Never heard of anyone expecting such a high amount of a loan to be paid back in 6 months. So maybe I'm not reading it correctly. War is always about resources. They want you to borrow 1 million. They want to borrow 1 million. The government wants to borrow 1 million from us. What do you mean the government wants to borrow 1 million from consumers? Are you talking about the taxation plan that President Biden talked about with the UK? Let me know, but I'm going to show this video real quick, and then we'll lead into cryptocurrencies backed by commodities, right?
When Trump got in office and he mentioned that there's a deep state, they're like, you can't say that. What are you doing? And when he said, hey, when they asked him, why are you leading your troops in Syria? And he said, for the oil. They're like, you get yeah. He goes, no, it's for the oil. No, it's for liberty. It's for helping the people. Yeah. No, it's for the oil. It's our oil. And so he let the cat out of the bag, and they can't have that. That's what he blew the whistle on what's actually going on. Our wars are for oil. Our wars are economic wars, just like what's happening in Ukraine. This is an economic war. We're trying to put a hurt and isolate Russia. We're afraid of Russia and their natural resources and their manpower coming together with Germany with their technology and their capital. And we've been saying that for decades. And so that's why we blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. And that's why this Ukraine war is happening. And people have no idea what's happening. And what's worse is they have no idea that they have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Can you play this clip? It's so interesting. When you watch this, the guy that's asking the questions is so calm and poised, and he gets rattled. Watch this.
to look at this and say the reason that the Russian army is on NATO, the Russian army is at NATO's doorstep is because NATO has expanded rather than the Russians expanding? That, in other words, NATO has moved closer to Russia rather than Russia moving closer to NATO. Is that not an accurate way to look at this?
I think that's the way President Putin probably looks at it. It's certainly not the way that we look at it.
You don't think that NATO has expanded eastward toward Russia?
NATO has expanded,
Okay.
and the expansion
So the
has been a
reason-
good thing for.
So the reason that the Russian army is at NATO's doorstep is not the fault of the Russian army, it's not the Russian army that's done it. It's NATO has moved closer to move
I'm pretty
east.
sure it wasn't NATO who was ordering, upwards of 15 battalion tactical groups to within 10 kilometers of the border with Ukraine. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't NATO who put little green men inside Ukraine to destabilize eastern
Well, I'm pretty
states.
sure that Ukraine is not a member of NATO. So unless that's changed,
It's not
Okay.
changed, but I'm
So-
pretty sure the movement by Russia is Russia's
if NATO has moved east, the reason that the Russian army is closer or on NATO's doorstep is because NATO moved, not
NATO
because
is not an anti-Russia alliance. NATO is a
Watch
security
this.
alliance.
Watch.
Unfortunately, for 50 years, it was an anti-Soviet alliance. So
Where's
do you
the
not
Soviet
understand
Union?
it? So do you not understand how, or can you not even see how the Russians will perceive it as a threat? And the fact that it keeps getting closer to their border while their troops, I mean, the places where their troops are, you say their troops are, and may have been in Ukraine and Georgia, are not NATO members.
I'm not going to pretend to know what goes in President Putin's mind or Russian military commanders. I mean, I barely got a history degree at the University of South Florida. What I can tell you is that NATO is a defensive alliance. It remains a defensive
Fair
alliance.
enough, but it has moved east, correct? I mean, that's just a
It has
fact.
expanded, absolutely.
Right, exactly.
But
And so
there's
the
no reason for anybody to think the expansion is a hostile or threatening move. And we've been saying that throughout the last 15 years, man.
You're moving closer to Russia. You're blaming the Russians for being close to NATO.
No.
Yeah, he is.
That's exactly what Hegel
What we're
said.
blaming the Russians for violating the territorial integrity of Ukraine and destabilizing the
Okay,
security
which is
situation
not a
inside
NATO
Europe.
member. Which is not a NATO.
I see you
Other
on that
countries
point.
feel threatened.
Nothing
There
makes
you
me
go.
happier than when you actually see a really good reporter that has the balls to do stuff like that and isn't silenced because they're scared about losing their job. I love things like that.
But that's a guy named Matt Lee, that journalist.
Good
Guy
good
named
on
Matt
you.
Lee. What are your thoughts when you see that?
Well, it's obvious that they don't want you to know the real history. They don't want you to know that when Germany was allowed to reunify, the promise from NATO to Russia was that we won't expand NATO. And then, of course, it did. I think there's 13 or something more countries that they put into NATO. And now they wanted to put Ukraine into NATO or threaten to do that. That would be like if Russia got into a military alliance with Mexico and they wanted to start putting military bases in Mexico. We wouldn't allow that. We wouldn't allow it. And just like what happened in Cuba with the missile crisis in the 60s, we wouldn't allow stuff like that. But we're doing that. And people don't want you to know that this NATO is not a defensive. It is offensive. This is a war that was started and provoked by NATO and the West. Zelensky ran on people.
And people, you have people that's been telling you about this for a very, very long time. I know for a lot of people, this is going to be new news or information to them. I'm actually going to show you a video from Robert Kiyosaki in 2016, right, when the Saudi Arabia occurrences was taking place, when 9/11 was happening. I need you all to hit the like and the thumbs up on this live stream as well, because the CEO of YouTube had switched over. They really don't want information like this getting out. So you hitting the thumbs up, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, helps the algorithm and help get more people into the live stream to get the truth out about what's going on. But, let me get into these crypto backed by commodities, but stay along for the entirety of this live stream because I do have a video about Robert Kiyosaki about oil taxes. This is in 2016. This is really an old problem. That's coming to it's coming to a head. It's coming to the bursting point. It's coming to the point where everything that was playing years ago has to come into fruition. It has to. And I don't want people to just get on my live stream and tell me that your eyes are wide open, that you are the woke class. I know what's going on. And then when I ask you, let me look at your portfolio. Let me see, as we had a 666, all 3 6 showing right now. So thank you all for whoever hit the thumbs up. I have a different intake on the number 6, but what most people think it is, right? I may get into that, I may not. But I don't want you to be so educated that you're not taking action, right? It's so many people that know so much, and they can get into numerology, they can get into biblical times, they can tell you about being a free person, a free man, they can tell you about being a strong man, and they have not achieved any of that, and they're not doing anything in preparation for this. It is preparation and planning that will make you successful, and that's going to bring you real financial peace, right, for where we are going in this economy. So let me show you all these cryptocurrency that's going away Tuesday. Let me give you the tokenomics and the numbers behind it. There won't be a World War III unless he creates it. Who is he? You're saying he? I don't know who you're talking about. Who he is. See, these are kind of discussions that I don't want to get into, really. I'm not getting into LOLs. I'm not getting into who's going to create it. My thing is, if and when it happens, how are you preparing? Especially from a financial perspective, right? Because it does not matter how spiritual or knowledgeable you are. Without having finances, you are going to suffer tremendously. I don't know what's LOL about these times. Like, I'm in a very, very serious mindset. Doesn't mean I can't joke, right? Don't mean we can't have jokes among us. But at this time, I don't see a whole lot of things funny, right? So let me give you this natural gas. This is NatG. This is the DEX screener that you can find it. If you see February the 26th, a whole lot of money came into this. In fact, on February the 26th, this is all the buys that's coming in. $101,000 one-time purchase was made. That means that if this cryptocurrency goes to just 1 penny, the person that has invested, this is another big buy that came in, natural gas. Then this is February the 26th as well, $2,302, meaning that they own. No, I'm sorry, it's not the house. They own, I'm sorry, 2,302,000 of NatG. But the person that purchased the $101,000 worth of natural gas put themselves in position to own 10 billion of these tokens, and which that means if it goes to just 1 penny, people, 1 cent, that's a $10 million investment. Look at the return on your investment. So things you want to look at when investing in any type of cryptocurrencies is its use cases, number 1, right? You also want to look at, is it being burned? That's why Shibarium release is a big deal right now. That's why Bitcoin halving coming up in 2024 is a big deal as well, because of what's called a burn rate. That means that tokens will be taken out of circulation, which will cause a supply and demand issue, which means less that's in circulation, more of demand that it will be. The higher the value will increase, right? And so with that being said, people, I want you to ask yourself, do you think that the price of natural gas this summer is going to be higher or lower? And if you think it's going to be higher, wouldn't you like to get into this cryptocurrency that's linked to natural gas before it goes away? Right? Would you like to be in cryptocurrency that is linked to natural gas if you believe the price is going to move like they did last year? And according to these trends, they are. So then the second thing you need to look at is your market cap. Right now, this market cap is at $2.89 billion. That's even higher than Shiba Inu right now, I think. I have to look at Shiba. But this is higher than a lot of the cryptocurrencies that people are in, that there are people that are familiar with. And this crypto right now, I'll show the price in a few minutes. But it's 30.3019, under a penny. Under a penny. And you get the continuity cash flow through crypto, which is also known as passive income. It's not like you're making a one-time purchase of it and then you're getting out. So let me show you the back office of what this looks like, and how I'm investing in it, and how you can text 33 to the number on the text CC, I'm sorry, to the number on the screen, 331-444-5556 to get in. So this is the natural gas. Again, 3 zeros, 19 cents. It is up 2.61% today. Earlier today, it was actually up 20%. So we saw a 20% price increase early this morning. Again, this is continuity crypto cash flow, meaning that you purchase the digital software. It's not like purchasing a crypto one time, because like Bitcoin, the value of Bitcoin, or the USD value, the price, I'll say it that way, not the value, of the price of Bitcoin is showing 23,000 today, $23,420. So we know that you do not have to buy an entire Bitcoin for 23,000. You can buy a percentage of a Bitcoin, but you only get that percentage. You only get that amount. With this, right? This is a continual crypto cash flow, because you invest in the digital software, which means you get the tokens produced on a daily basis, 365 days a year, 24/7, on a continuous basis. If you looking at my portfolio, you can see that the largest amount of holdings in my portfolio right now is black gold. That's Texas tea, that's crude oil. That's what the World War III will be about. That's my point of bringing up World War III. This is about a cuttage of crude oil that will be imported into the United States. The OPEC, Organization of Petroleum and Economic, what's the C? Come on, Deloach. Council, right? OPEC is saying, you know what, we're cutting the United States off from our oil. We don't want the United States dollars anymore, right? Why would they? People, why would they? Robert Kiyosaki says all the countries, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Country. Robert Kiyosaki says all the time, why would you want more dollars? I'm going to show you that video as well, especially after 1971, when the dollar was taken or removed from what I'm showing you now, a commodity. It was removed from being gold, right? And then they linked it to petrodollar, which was what Saudi Arabia was about, and 9/11, because it always has to be linked to a commodity. So now that the cash is not linked to commodities, crypto is linked to commodities, right? And the earlier adopters are the ones that become the richest. The people that get, and this is, not really, I didn't really mean this in intent to connect it with bone, but people that get more meat on the bone. That's why I got some bone crypto as well, because of Shabiri. But I didn't, no pun intended. This one gas is going to go to $85 a gallon. So, and I see that you have a trucker's image for your avatar. Are you a trucker? Are you driving? Because I like for truckers to come on my live stream, because they give input from what they see in the real world economy and traveling abroad from state to state, right? And so this is what my portfolio, my natural gas, is steadily building. And so if you can look, this is the what it's saying, the portfolio balance is valued at, as of today, even with gas prices not high, But when you look at the you all 777, come on, you all know how I am about my numbers. I want everybody, whether you watching this live or in the replay, type in 777. Come on, make a mind message connection for me. People, but this is only the value. I've only been in this for 3 months because I just found out about it exactly on Thanksgiving Day of last year. This is 3 months, right? So hashtag 777, and people accumulating natural gas right now at the price entry points. Getting those tokens, it moves to just 1 penny. We're talking multi-millionaire status. And so I get rewarded passively in my crypto daily, and my daily passive rewards right now is $145 a day. $145 a day. What would $145 a day passively do for you? Passively. There's 3 types of income, and you don't learn this in school, but there's earned income, right? There's portfolio income, where you get income for capital gains. That means you buy and you sell for profit. But there's also residual passive income, meaning that you do no work. Actually, residual income will require you to do some work, right? It's people-based, meaning that residually, if you're getting paid for a tenant living in your home, right, you have to have a person that's paying you. Passive income, you have to have a system. It's not people-based, meaning that this digital software does not call me in the middle of the night and says, I'm having issues with my toilet. I need someone to fix it. My pipeline just broke. No. The software works for me, whether I'm sick, whether I'm vacationing, whether I'm enjoying life, whether I'm up, whether I'm down, whether I feel like talking to someone, whether I feel like conducting business or not. So we're looking at, people, again, a $2.89, soon to be $3 billion right now market cap. Well, it just moved to 2.90 billion with the B. And so you have to be an exclusive member to get this. The membership alone is just $115. This is why when I have someone that's okay, glad. Tell me what does seeing those numbers do for you? I always ask people that when they tell me they're seeing those numbers. Tell me what seeing those numbers are doing for you, and what that means to you when you see those numbers, right? But what's the link for this? Alvin, text me at 331-444-5556, and I get you that link. Because I want you to watch a video first to get more in-depth understanding of what I'm going to break down and show. But I'm showing people the numbers because oftentimes people want to know, especially in the crypto world, what's the market cap? What's the interest point? What's the tokenomics on it? And then also, people, you get the royalties. You get, most people don't ever get royalty income from cryptocurrencies. So the company, in other words, is paid out royalties through the contract with these mining businesses and persons. I'm going to show you the information on that. And then those royalties are then paid out in a passive way to the people that buy and hold the digital software licenses to mine, right? And so let me find that light paper real quick. And so, yes, Shiba Inu, look, have no problem. But one thing that distinctly set this apart from things like a SHIB or XRP or even Bitcoin is that you get royalty benefits, you get continuity of cash flow, you get perpetual income, and you get to things that are linked to the real world economic system, meaning that when you go to the gas pump and you see your gas prices by this summer, or you go to the grocery stores, now you have cryptos that's moving right along with it, right? Someone says, okay, when she sees 777, reminds her to manage her crypto investment accounts and remember the promises that you dreamed of. All right, stay with me to the end. I may break that down for you. Natural gas, the future of natural gas exploration. This is the light paper. So again, this is decentralized. People, what I want you all to understand is that decentralization means it's more faster and is more environmentally friendly. This is what we call dApps applications are being created now. This is why Ethereum had to change from proof of stake to proof of work to be more environmentally friendly. This is why Bitcoin mining is a very expensive event, right? Because of that. So everything, and this is even biblical based, that Leviticus, when it talks about the 50th Jubilee or reset, that God's land must rest, meaning that the time of destroying land to get or retrieve natural resources, biblically, is going to stop. And so all of these projects, and this is supported by special technology that it sounds familiar to XRP, but it's XP. Hold up, let me make sure I say it right. It's XPR. It's the satellite technology XPRL, because XRP do have the XRPL as well. So it's very familiar with that acronym breakdown. But eco-friendly blockchain technology that's anonymous. This is what I want to bring out. Anonymous software operators who together create a blockchain. That's what decentralized means. It means no centralized person can control it. No one can stop a blockchain or prevent you from sending it. No one. That's why Bitcoin cannot be stopped. The property of Bitcoin and these projects cannot be manipulated, seized, or stolen. Now, when people think of commodities, they think of things that come from the ground, which natural gas does, crude oil does, right? But I want you to think, when you're thinking of digital commodity as it relates to the crypto world, it means that anyone in the world can get it and it's fungible. So this digital currency project is linked to real world commodities through the blockchain. So it adds stability by supporting tangible physical commodity production, such as gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas, agriculture, real estate. It has the word real in it. Royalty cash flows. You do not get royalty cash flow unless you're doing this digital software. You do not get this anywhere. You don't, people. And I'm not saying that these cryptos are going away. What I am telling you is the one that I'm talking about right now, natural gas, is going away off the market from being available to purchase in a mining world Tuesday, which would be the 28th. That's why I'm taking our time today to do this live stream. So the real world commodity production benefits digital licenses, right? Everyone wins. Everyone wins, meaning that when it's decentralized, everyone can download this software. I don't care what part of the world you are from, or whether you're from Africa or India, right? Or any parts of the world, you can mine this. Australia, United States, anywhere. Because why? Gold is gold everywhere. Oil is oil everywhere. Wheat is wheat everywhere. Bitcoin is Bitcoin everywhere. I don't care if you speak Chinese. They know Bitcoin. Say Bitcoin. Go there and say Bitcoin. And they know the word gold and silver. I don't care what language you speak. French, Spanish, English. It does not matter. They will know when you say Bitcoin. Just like numbers is a universal language, is why I love teaching from numbers. And so normally only people that can really get into investing in these commodities are people that have future contracts, and they have to be sophisticated investors, which means you have to show evidence that you are earning over $250,000 a year. And so when a lot of people come to me, I won't say a lot, but okay, glad you was born in the year 779, right? But anyway, when some people come to me and say, I'm just trying to figure out, is this a scam? I was scammed in crypto before. I'm like, how can crypto connect to real world projects seem like a scam to you? And then I know that's just a mindset type thing. That's a mindset type thing to where even if it's $100 or $200 investment, you have a fear of a scam more than a fear of a gain. And so what happens with this, when you have more eco-friendly, and then you become a license holder, which means you get continuity cash flow, perpetual income, passive income. These tokens are already at $5 million in liquidity, right? They are being listed. The future goals is to get listed on centralized exchange. This is already listed on PancakeSwap already. That was the future goal when this was released, but it has already happened now. Natural gas production royalties, a limited of natural gas will be mined. That's why it's going away Tuesday. And that's why out of all the projects, I'm mainly focused on this one. Now, I want to talk to you also about the burn rate, right? Being burned at a rapid pace. That means this can be the size of Instagram or Nike in the future, right? A virtual machine, DeFi, 2% burn transaction, sent to the burn wallet, never seen again. Every year, it has already have a burn halving yearly. If Bitcoin is becoming more valuable because of its burning every 4 years, imagine how big this burning is that happens annually every year. So again, taking more coins off the token, so the people that are token holders, it makes what they have more valuable. This is the cash, this is the transaction process of how the blockchain technology and everything is burned through this ecosystem, right? Now, with that being said, that's the light paper part. That's as simple, right, that I can explain it. Now, I want to show you this 2016 of Robert Kiyosaki, and you're going to see it's a very old video because Robert Kiyosaki looks totally different. And yes, I talked about World War III in the beginning of this video. If you missed that, and President Trump talking about World War III happening, which, with the balloon being shot down, and United States sending more money to UK and Russia combining with China, I don't see how that's hard to believe. I don't see why it's like a question mark, like a surprise. World War III, yes, because it's a commodity war. It is. It's a commodities war. It's not about who shot my balloon down, who poked my balloon at my party. No, way bigger than that, right? And if you want to believe it's about the balloon pop, then, you have that right.
That the 9/11 Commission is not releasing what really happened during the attack at the World Trade Center. And what most people know is that there are 19 hijackers. 14 were Saudis. They were not Iraqi. They were not Afghanistan. They were Saudis. So anyway, let's repeat. Netanyahu comes to the States last year, 2015. This year, people are suing the Saudi government saying, we want you to disclose who really caused the attack on the World Trade Center on 9/11. And so Obama had to fly all the way to Saudi Arabia, and the king of Saudi Arabia didn't meet with him.
No, in fact, it was some low-level dignitary that met with him.
He was like a mayor of some Saudi Arabian town. It was like to Obama. Now, the reason this is important is if we go to war and the UN, Saudi Arabia says we're not going to trade in dollars anymore, the US comes down. or crashes. So 2016 may come true for other reasons. Any comments on that?
Well, I mean, think about it. The only reason that the dollar is so strong, I mean, it's the strongest currency in the world.
In history.
And why is that? I mean, it's not backed by gold. It's there because it's backed by oil. People have to have dollars. And so in order to get dollars, they have to sell things to the US, they have to export to the US. Somehow they actually have to find those dollars. They have to get dollars. Well, if they don't have to get those dollars anymore, what happens to the dollar? It loses all of its clout and goes.
So in America, $1 million house may suddenly be worth $500,000. Not that people care for the rich, but the whole economy shrinks because the dollar goes down in value. Once again, please remember oil, money, and war. Pearl Harbor was caused because the US cut Japan off of oil. Vietnam was a war because America wanted to make sure China didn't get Vietnam's oil. And the reason that China ships us so many cheap products is so that we'll ship them dollars to buy oil. If you can understand that, it's really about not peace and democracy and all. It's about money, war, and oil. For example, during World War I, the war that Hitler fought in, they used horses. A horse ate 3 times more than 30 soldiers. And so the horse was not very efficient. But at the same time, Germany and world was going to tanks and trucks, not horses. So World War II, it became very, very important that Germany had oil, Europe had oil, and America had oil. Any comments on that?
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what war. I mean, this is what's fascinating. You go back to any war, and what is it? It's about the oil. Ever since ever since World War I, if you're talking about oil, you go, well, wait a minute. If it's about oil, maybe I need to understand oil because oil's tied to money. And what happens if the dollar goes down? Well, really happening, that's really another word for inflation. That means that the dollar's not worth as much, so that everything you buy costs more money.
As in the United States, the dollars from all over the world, because right now banks are holding dollars in their treasuries.
That's right.
But if they don't have to use dollars to buy oil, they don't need our dollars. That money comes back into the United States. There may be hyperinflation. There may also be a collapse. That's why 2016 is such an important year. And that's why it's important to, study, to understand, to pay attention. Like I said, Tom and I will be traveling throughout the world, talking to different groups, and we'll be talking about financial education. But really, we're talking about oil, money, war, and taxes, right?
That's right.
So wow, that was a throwback, Robert Kiyosaki, 2016. Wow. So we're at their time. We're at that time where they don't need the United States dollars for the oil anymore. That's why central banks have been accumulating more gold. This is why Russia, China has a digital yuan. They have CBDCs backed by physical gold because the old money is never going to go away. Never. But it's never going to be placed on the currency system again. They're just going to now connect it in a digital currency world, much like the Bible combines the Old Testament and the New Testament, right? And so it's not going away. It's going to collaborate. It's going to collaborate. More things from Robert Kiyosaki. He's worth over $100 billion. So I think he's worth listening to, right? I think and he's the best person that I know that financially educates people. He's, in my opinion, a prophet. Did you see Building 7 on 9/11? Okay, why does that matter in my live stream? But I did see Boeing plane number 7 in 9/11. And speaking of 9/11, since you brought it up, and the number 7 Boeing plane is under the rubbles of 9/11, found millions of physical silver and gold. during the 9/11, right? During the 9/11, there were millions of physical silver and gold found buried underneath the two, right? And the reason why I really try to stay focused, because when I started talking about numbers and spiritual things, I can get off topic like real quick because it takes me to my world. But so yes, I did see the number 7 connected to 9/11. I will go into number 7 because that number has been coming up in this live stream when I'm finished. But let me show you this Robert Kiyosaki on fake money, and then we'll get into the sevens and the meaning of those numbers as well as it relates to the economy.
So in 1971, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. That meant the US government could now print money, basically screwed the world economy. So rather than fix the economy, they just did this. Everything's inflated now. Fake money.
Fake money.
So after 2008, they just kept pumping it, and it's getting worse. And this is what's going to happen.
How can you explain that to people? And then what do they need to know about fake assets to protect themselves, especially from this upcoming crash or crisis that's going to happen?
So in 1971, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. That meant the US government could now print money, basically screwed the world economy. So rather than fix the economy, they just did this. Everything's inflated now. Fake money.
Fake money.
So after 2008, they just kept pumping it, and it's getting worse. And this is what's going to happen.
How can you explain that to people? And then what do they need to know about fake assets to protect themselves, especially?
I wouldn't touch a stock. I don't touch mutual funds. I don't touch ETFs. You know why? Because it only makes them rich. If you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, it says your house is not an asset. Why? Because for 30 years, when you own that house, you're sending money to the bank, right? So when you have a 401k or a retirement plan and all this, and let's say you start at 20 and you're going to retire at 65, for 45 years, you're going to send that money to buy stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, and savings. Stupid. I want my assets putting money in my pocket. I don't want to buy a house that takes money from my pocket. Most people's retirement plans aren't assets, they're liabilities because they're sucking cash out of that person's pocket for 45 years. I wouldn't touch a stock. I don't touch mutual funds. I don't touch ETFs. You know why? Because it only makes them rich. If you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, it says your house is not an asset. Why? Because for 30 years, when you own that house, you're sending money to the bank, right? So when you have a 401k or a retirement plan and all this, and let's say you start at 20 and you're going to retire at 65, for 45 years, you're going to send that money to buy stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, and savings. Stupid. I want my assets putting money in my pocket. I don't want to buy a house that takes money from my pocket. Most people's retirement plans aren't assets, they're liabilities because they're sucking. Everything you pay taxes on is what the Fed puts you in. Okay, so when they say don't fight the Fed, that's propaganda, that's smoke. The Fed cannot print oil, so I invest in oil. The Fed cannot grow cattle, so I invest in cattle. The Fed cannot grow apartment buildings, so I invest with Kenny. Everything the Fed touches turns to tax. Everything you pay taxes on is what the Fed puts you in. Okay, so when they say don't fight the Fed, that's propaganda, that's smoke. The Fed cannot print oil, so I invest in oil. The Fed cannot grow cattle, so I invest in cattle. The Fed cannot grow apartment buildings, so I invest with Kenny. Everything the Fed touches turns to tax. Everything you pay taxes on is what the Fed puts you in.
Okay, I'm assuming you are ready to get into 777. I'm trying to get you, tell you 777 different ways why you need to invest in this cryptocurrency by natural gas before it goes away Tuesday. Getting in cryptocurrencies that are connected to real world project and the NatG is going away Tuesday. So if 7 means divine transition is coming. I'm going to break that down. In fact, now the liquidity on this number just changed to 812. It was showing 811 when I logged in. A $2.9 billion crypto to get in. There's 3 zeros, 0.19 under $1, right? Decimal point under $1 right now. So That's going away Tuesday. Text the number on the screen. All right, let me devote the last part of this, you all. 777 came up. Y'all about the 777. We're in the cryptos. Where in the cryptos you mentioned you just got in? You have to text CC to 331-444-5556 to the number on the screen to get that commodity back. Crypto. High this week's the natural gas will go away Tuesday, and I'm doing a Zoom at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time for those persons that get in that get in as members, because it's exclusive only. And then once you're a membership, I'll help you go ahead and make that purchase. As we see Floki at 7.7, GRT 7.7. So let's get into the 7. Sheba just at 3.2%, and Bone is at Bone. People is going to be bigger than Sheba on Shibarium, right? Because it is the gas that gas fees will be on the Bone network, right? All about the bone marrow. Let's get into all about the numbers. Boom. The number 7 again is divine transition. It brings perfection. In fact, Psalms, why do I keep doing it? It's a habit. I'm sorry. Psalm, not with the S, Psalm 7 brings perfect order, right? Brings perfect order. Perfection of order. Let's break down 7. The 7-day completion happened in Genesis. Completion, rest happened. Rest means to bankrupt, to reset as we get into 9/11 and the 7 connection, to bankrupt the financial system. Once you look at the core of that definition in Hebrew, rest means to bankrupt. It's not like the rest that we are used to in our world, in the Western civilization world, where rest means to just sit down and take a nap. Now I'm finished working, and now it's time for me to take a rest or a nap. No, it's not that much. Text CC to get more information, about that cryptocurrency. And so, listen, if that's when I show you the value of something, right? Text me, because this is a very valuable, time sensitive opportunity to get in that natural gas crypto. So I wouldn't be, but it's $115 to become a member. If that seems too risky for you, then maybe that's like a Netflix subscription or something, right? And I'm just making it clear because I'm going to work with the people who's trying to get in before it goes away, and I don't have time for time wasters or people that $115 is a stretch for them to become a member, right? To get that crypto. I it's nothing that I can really do for you. That's the issue. But really pray for you that your finances improve some type of way where there's not an issue in the future, right? $115 to become a membership to get access where there's not an issue for you in the future, right? And I tell people, and most time I tell people, if that's an issue for you now, what are you doing? What are you doing to fix it? Right? What are you doing to fix that? But 777, let's get back focused. 7 great land masses form, I don't know if you all know this, to complete the earth. 7 great bodies of water form to complete an ocean. 7 colors make a perfect spectrum. This is why when God flooded the earth, he told Noah, I'm going to always show you the rainbow as a sign of the infinite intelligence. I don't want to just say God as in the masculine form, but it's most identified as masculine. But this is where infinite intelligence told Noah that I will never again flood the earth and the rainbow, the perfect spectrum, 7 colors of the rainbow. In fact, the LGBT community only use 6 colors. So you should ask yourself, why did they use these colors in this flag, right? They cannot use 7. They cannot use the number of perfection. They cannot use that perfect spectrum, right? And so 7 notes to a perfect scale, 7 notes to a perfect scale, 7-year sabbatical. In the 7th year where we are entering, right, is the year of rest. 7 days out of a week, although there used to be 8 days, but I won't get on that. 7 days of time in the Bible for mourning the dead. 7 equals purification. In the Word of God, you'll find that in Psalm 12:6, right? 7 Greek-speaking Christians were appointed by 12 apostles. That's in Acts 6:3. 7 spiritual gifts given from God. That's in Romans chapter 12, 1-8. And then you have the Bible that's divided into 7 divisions, right? But then you have the wall of Jericho. The last day, the people were given instructions to march around that wall 7 times, right? 7 times. And a second. All right, 2 Kings chapter 5. Naaman went and dipped, saying for the man of God, right? He was clean 7 times. 7 is divine transition, right? 7 churches in Revelation, 7 stars, 7 angels, 7 seals of judgment, 7 spirits of God, 7 mountains, 7 kings, just so many, right, in the Bible. Number 7. So number 7 is a divine transition. When you're seeing that number, you're supposed to be transitioning into something. The perfected state of God, right? 70 times 7, how many times do you are supposed to offer or forgiveness, right? Divine order is supposed to come into place. You're supposed to have an understanding of a product, especially the one I just showed you, right? Of its product, of understanding. This is why the forgiveness is 70 times 10. You're supposed to have an understanding, a completion, a divine order, a spiritual path for your life. God made creation in 6 days. The divine order to bring the 7th day was the spiritual connection, right? The spiritual connection. 4 is the number, the meaning of the number 4 is the number of the earth realm. When you add the 4 to the 3, which is the Trinity, a spiritual number, then you have a spiritual and physical earthly combination. 4 is the creative works of God. In Revelation 7:1, it breaks down the 4 corners of the earth. There are 4 cardinal directions. This is where we get the word news from: north, east, west, and south. I'm just going to sit back and teach, right? The 4 phases of the moon, the 4 elements: earth, wind, fire, and air. The 4 rivers of paradise is talked about in Genesis chapter 2 and 10. And Jeremiah 49, it talks about the 4 winds of heaven. 4 things make up the universe: time, energy, space, and matter. 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. 4 divisions of the day: morning, noon, evening, and midnight. 4 major provisions for man: again, earth, air, water, fire. 4 winds, 4 horns, right? 4 horsemen, 4 acts of judgments. And this is God's creative work. So when you add your creative works are supposed to be added. Now I'm saying 666, but your creative works are supposed to be added with your spiritual works. And this is where we get to saying, don't be so spiritually minded that you're no earthly good. You won't believe how many people come on my live stream because I break down numbers in this way, and it's an attraction for them, that they feel like I'm so spiritually minded. But then you ask them to take a earthly action that will combine both being spiritually rich with financial riches, and they don't want to do the creative. They don't want to do the earthly actions. They just want to be spiritually rich. And that's not the way we were supposed to be. In fact, the Bible says, I command you to be rich in this world. And it states that the highest heavens belong to the Lord, but the earth I have given unto mankind. So God's way of having earth is through commodities and its earthly riches. And so when people are unable to make an action or decision to improve their financial wealth in the earth realm, and they only focus on spiritual wellness. In fact, the Bible breaks down the 7 heavens. 7 heavens, not just one, 7. People say, I'm going to heaven. I'm like, which one are you talking about? It's 7 mentioned in the Bible. And so with this being said, you are charged to be rich in this world, to walk in your purpose, because no one can finance true freedom without financial support. In fact, in Abraham in the Bible, I think chapter 13 of Genesis, it says Abraham was very rich. And just so the real spiritual people want to say, oh, that means he was spiritually rich. No. Say he was rich in silver, gold, livestock, and we know he had land. He was commodities rich. So now that crypto is linked to commodities, this is the window of opportunity. Just like Noah had on his boat, there was a window of opportunity for every animal, every person to enter in. And when that window is closed, it's closed. Now I can get into the 2 kinds of animal in every art, the number 2, but I won't. Now I will end this on September 11th. World War III has started, currency changing and war happening. Yes. Thank you, D. Wow. Love it, love it, love it. I don't think the end is coming. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the rapture. I do not agree with that. I don't agree with that. No. Because in Revelation it talks about a new heaven and new earth. God's plan is never to come back. Is to prepare man in this changing transaction, right? How can, a new heaven, new earth? Well, no, that's not going. I don't believe that's happening. No, I mean, in 1933 depression, people thought Jesus would return too, and it's amazing to me how people only want Jesus to return when the economy gets bad, but when the economy is good, they're like, "Oh, we good, Jesus. You don't have to come back." A lot of things that stop people from coming financially rich is their BS, which is their belief system. When the economy good, they're not thinking about Jesus. They're thinking about steak and seafood and traveling. We don't even hear about, he's coming back. No, you don't hear about that. You didn't hear about that when Trump was in office and gas was low in the stock market. Oh, no, they didn't want him to come back then. Just hold on, Jesus. That's okay. The economy good. We good. The rapture is nowhere in the Bible. Thank you. It's not. Thank you. It's not. Nowhere. Anywhere. So I will be with you to the end of the ages. That's different. But the 7/11 attacks, commonly known as 9/11, the 4, I broke down the number 4, coordinated, right? Carry out the militant. Yeah. I'm not going to read all of this. But that morning, 19 terrorists, right? I can get to number 8, but I won't. But 19 terrorists, and because, or the number 10 is going to be shown a lot in this as well. So 9 + 1 is 10. 4 happens in the earth realm. That's why Elon Musk purchased Twitter for $44 billion. The hijackers in track crashed 2, the number 2. 2 is the number of division. 2 is the number of division. And so the number 2, 11 is a split. The number 10 is the number of law and order and responsibility. And so they crashed 2 planes, the first 2 planes in Twin Towers, and the third, it was 4 planes in all. And the 4th plane was also in the federal government building and the attacks killed nearly 3,000 people. The first plane, people, American Airlines number what? 11. 11. In fact, I made a post on my YouTube channel today about 11 states that's at risk of bad weather this weekend. Right? 11, just like Genesis 11, is a sign of warning that there's going to be destruction, but a wealth transfer at the same time. Under these rubbles of these buildings, gold, physical gold and silver was found. There was destruction and a wealth transfer. Genesis 11 breaks down a frequency change of the towers and a language, a global change. Genesis 11, right? And so within an hour, 42 minutes, the destruction happened. The other flight, people, number 3, I just broke down 7-7, divine transition. Divine transition. The fourth and final, number 4, what happens in the earth realm was 93, right? 12 is the number of government. 12 disciples, 12 constellations, 12 months in a year. That is the number of government, right? Then we go back to number 11. 1 out of 12 disciples was corrupt to Jesus. So, yeah. Now, all of these flights targeting. So that's what this is. Latin, look at the year. May 2nd. Again, May this year. March is considered the first month of the year. May is the 3rd when you look at the, when you're not going off the Gregorian calendar, right? But rather the Jewish calendar. And so, as you can tell, the first of the year brings about spring. But this was on May, and then it was 11, a double 11 again, right? That it happened. And then you see the 10 billion infrastructure of property damages. So the number 10 is all the way in this. In fact, Acts chapter 10 tells you about spiritual transformation, energy transformation in Acts chapter 10 that happened in the 9th hour, right? Again, 10 is that you got the 10 commandments, you got the 5 spiritual parts and the 5 natural parts. The thing is, people are so unbalanced. 5 is a number of balance. That's why we have 5 fingers, 5 toes, 5 senses, right? People are really spiritual and they're broke, or they're broke, really spiritual or religious and they're, struggling financially. So people don't like me to use the word broke sometimes. So I won't say that, but the Bible does say the poor will be with you always, right? So either they're really religious and spiritual and they're poor financially, or sometimes, which I think people have to be really spiritual to understand commodities, because silver and gold is an attractor of wealth. And I'll point it down because I have some silver and gold here. But in order to be really rich, you have to be a spiritual, enlightened person. But sometimes people can be really spiritual, enlightened, and really struggling financially, or they can have a whole lot of money, have no spiritual insight, right? And so they're not in balance. They're not in equilibrium, right? And so that's all I have to say. 5 is also for giving and receiving, right? The 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, which equal to the number 7. But the 5 had to be given from the little boy lunch. And then also the number 2, which means a number of separation for multiplication. I won't even get into that. I'm logging out. Let me get with these people that want to get into crypto. If World War 3 is here, tell me why we should get these before Tuesday. Get what before Tuesday? The natural gas crypto that I was talking about will not be available to purchase on in this private sector, membership-based sector that I'm telling you about. That's why I'm saying Tuesday for that, right? If you want to get the crypto that's connected by natural gas, they're not going to make it available to buy the digital software to get there before Tuesday. And so why you need to get it by the summer, I think is the better question, because this is when we're going to see natural gas prices and crude oil increase again like it did last summer. Agreed. The Simpsons do not predict. They already know. They already know what's going to happen. They're elite because they plan it. So it's not a prediction, right? Okay, y'all, I'm signing out. So if you're getting in late, I'm telling people about, I just finished some Bible numerology, or some people don't even like me to say that, but the Bible meaning of the numbers, I'll say it that way if you don't like the word numerology. The crypto links to black gold, Texas T, is up 4.59%. Digital gold, this is real gold in the earth realm, is up 3.66%. Debt, people, is up 10%. That is going to be like Bone on Shibarium or BNB. It is that utility token, or Ethereum. Future prediction of this to be listed on Binance. So get it before it's listed on Binance. This is how you get this is what your membership gets you the access to. This is the natural gas cryptocurrency I was talking about that goes away Tuesday for those who are non-members to purchase. This is Grow, high yielding agriculture that's supported by soybeans, hemp, wheat, cocoa beans. Just cocoa alone is a $1 billion industry. In fact, I have some cocoa butter around here. And so just that cocoa industry alone, XPLR is the satellite technology that finds these commodities in the earth realm at a more faster and environmentally friendly way. That's the satellite technology. I'm saying 666 here, but I'm not going to break down 666. My voice is getting tired. But the 666 is aluminum. That's where it's showing the gains as well. I will say this, 666 is the number of man. On the 6th day, God said it was very good. And the 666 has to do with your pineal gland. This is why on the 6th day, the wild beast, that's an analogy of your pineal gland, your spiritual man, and your physical man. The wild beast and man was created on the first day. In fact, Genesis 1:27 tells us that humans were created before they even mentioned Adam, right? And also King Solomon, the richest king, richest man in the Bible, accepted gold in the amount of 666 tons a year for continuity cash flow. That was his number, 666. So it's also a representation of physical wealth in the earth realm and finances in the trade system, this is aluminum, a $5 billion industry right now. 666, right? That's why no man can buy or sell, right? It is a monetary meaning as well as spiritual. Beverage is the number 11 is showing. This is a one made 50 cent, rich as well, investing in vitamin water. Beverage industry is a $1 trillion, $1.8 trillion industry. And this is commodity as well. It's linked to water, fine wines, carbonated beer, energy drinks, all of that. And blocks is commercial real estate, right? Commercial real estate. God is not making any more land. And all of these commodity linked cryptos have burn, which means it takes away, and it's been burned at a rapid pace, which increases the value of each coin that you accumulate because you're purchasing the digital software at a faster rate. So you've purchased the software that verify transaction, and you get passive crypto income at the same time, unlike making a one-time purchase of crypto that you do in the crypto world. And it's going to move with the commodity market. I'm signing out, you all. I love this live stream. Thank you all for tuning in. I've had some very intelligent people to tune in on this live stream. I went longer than I expected because of this. So hit the thumbs up and share this on your Twitter. Show me some hearts, some digital love. My views at Twitter are increasing as well. Share this on Facebook and share this on your YouTube. Love you all. Now it's time to get to work and help people purchase these natural gas licenses. Queen out.